Well, after months of covering the casting process and through filming, we finally made it to trailer day. That's right, it's time for the trailer for James Gunn's Superman, which will kickstart the live action side of the DCU. Let's get into it. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Welcome back into JC's Movies with me, JC, where we're talking movies and TV shows all the time. And especially, we're going to be covering Superman all the way to the lead up in its release in July. We've been covering it since way back when, months ago. Now we finally made it to the point where they've cut a trailer. And yes, I'm a day late on this shit because I got a little bit of a cold. Yesterday, the cold medicine knocked me out. Didn't get a chance to watch the trailer, but that's okay. We're going to dive in, have a reaction. We're going to go through it bit by bit, break it down, and we're going to share some quotes from James Gunn as well. So with no further ado, let's get into it. The Superman trailer that's going to kickstart James Gunn's DCU. Let's go. That score is fantastic.
Crypto. Home. Take me home.
One of the only pieces of dialogue in the trailer. Isn't that beautiful right there? Can't say he didn't get Superman saving anyone. Luther Corp looks sick. Got my feelings on Nick Holt, though. Talk about that momentarily. Nathan Fillion with the bowl cut's great. That classic Guy Gardner bowl cut. There's a fortress, Metamorpho. Mr. Terrific. That ending shot's beautiful right there. I love that. Boom. There it is, guys. July 11th. Can't get here soon enough, in my opinion. Loved that trailer. But let's go through it, slow it down. Let's kind of break it down piece by piece, talk a little bit about it. All right. So obviously, I got this slowed down to like half speed, but want to just pause it and talk about some of the shots a little bit because wherever they filmed the Fortress of Solitude looks beautiful. And I know where it is because I covered it here on the past on the show. I think it was somewhere, was it Antarctica or something like that? I can't remember right off, but you can find it in one of our Superman updates exactly what the location was. But it's beautiful, and the fortress is going to look fantastic. And then I think obviously right here, probably people were surprised that we saw a battered and beaten Superman to start off the trailer for sure. I definitely was surprised, wasn't expecting to see that, but also I like it because it shows that yes, it's going to be brighter. Yes, it's going to be a more happy Superman. You're going to see Superman saving people with all the complaints that people have had before, but also it's not going to be afraid to go there and go a little bit darker. And we get a decent shot of the costume here. A few things obviously we already knew about, the yellow shield on the cape, which looks fantastic. We saw that in the teaser for the teaser trailer here. And then I think it's pretty cool that his trunks are more like almost like briefs or boxers or something rather than just like the tight trunks. They look less like underwear and almost like shorts over top, which is a different change than what I've seen in the past. And then I think obviously as we look through this Clark Kent action here, and you see him strolling through the streets. We saw the behind the scenes photos of this, right, with that hair on, and when we saw the pictures of it, it looked absolutely terrible. I'm like, there's no way that that's going to look good, and through the magical filming, right, it doesn't look near as bad, and it also really differentiates the Clark Kent look from the Superman look. He's got this kind of curly up hair, and then of course when he's Superman, it's more straight. He's got the S curl. I like the way they're differentiating the two, and it also looks like we're going to get goofy Clark Kent again. And so here, look, it sounds a little distorted because I've got the thing played on half speed, but when that Superman score by John Williams kicks in, but John Murphy has kind of updated it with the guitar, that is awesome. And what it brings me back to is kind of like Halloween 6, right? You have the great Michael Myers theme, the great Halloween theme, but you just want people to kind of give their own original take on it. And in Halloween 6, they did something similar with the electric guitar version of the Halloween theme, and that was awesome. And now here, John Murphy doing it with John Williams' score, I thought it really played really well throughout this trailer. I thought it was awesome. There's a shot of Pruitt Taylor Vince as Pa Kent, and our first look at Smallville and kind of the Kent farm a little bit there, as we get a shot there in Smallville, I'm assuming, of him and his father. Which I wonder, we know that this is picking up with him already being Superman. So is that a flashback maybe? Is his father already passed and it's a flashback scene? I think that's definitely a possibility. And then, of course, here comes the debut. Someone, I think a lot of people were wondering if it would show up in the trailer because we saw these photos. We knew that Crypto was going to be in the movie. And not only does Crypto in the trailer, but he plays a huge part. One of our only lines of dialogue here in the trailer is when Crypto arrives and Superman says, home, take me home. And that's really, one of the only lines of dialogue, except for I think the other one being the little kid that's putting up the post and, saying Superman, Superman. So I think that's the only two lines of dialogue we get. So that's one thing I like. It's a true teaser trailer to me because it really just kind of shows you here's some shots of the characters. It doesn't really give away any of the plot hardly. And it doesn't even give away any of the dialogue either, but just does show some really cool shots. Hey, this is kind of what we're doing. And I think this is how you do a teaser trailer. I think now moving forward, trailer number 1 and such, then we'll probably get a little bit more about the plot. All right, here's one of my negative points, guys. You guys know I'm not a fan of Nicholas Hoult. I just don't know. The Luthor Corp looks great. I've seen people say right there on that shot, he looks like Hitman, from the Hitman movies or video games or whatever. And it kind of does a little bit, but that's probably my least favorite thing from the trailer was Nicholas Hoult. And some of the CGI looks a little rough, but I'm sure it's still unfinished with us being 7 months out, so that could change. But Nicholas Hoult, I'm still not sold on, man. I just don't know. I'm glad he shaved his head. He's got the whole actual, Lex Luthor look going, but just not who I would have cast personally. Nathan Fillion is Guy Gardner. We get a shot of Hawk Girl right there. I think the Hawk Girl shot in, and the whatever the fuck that is, that fucking kaiju that Superman's fighting there. I don't know what that is, but the CGI looks a little wonky on those shots, but hopefully, like I said, it can get cleaned up. And then, of course, here, that's where we got the uniform reveal. The first pick of Superman in the costume was from that area where him and Lois were. I believe the robot there is Calyx, who we all remember, from Krypton, and then he was also in Man of Steel as well. And we get a shot of Metamorpho, Lex Luthor. And then, of course, we get the shot of Crypto pulling Superman. A lot of people think that may be Ultraman that he's fighting. I think that remains to be seen, but there were set photos that seemed like that. Eddie Gathegi is Mr. Terrific. Looks like a pretty cool shot there. Then that right there is my favorite shot of the trailer, just going up into the sky with the sunlight coming through the clouds. It's really, really beautiful. And then, like I said here, at the close, whatever they're doing here in front of this window, that's where we got the first pick of Superman's costume, of course, and you get the embrace with Superman and Lois, which is always good. So there it kind of is, talking about it a little bit shot by shot. But let's talk about some quotes from James Gunn in regards to the trailer and in regards to the movie. All right, so from the Hollywood Reporter here, we got some quotes from Hollywood Reporter and some quotes from Variety. But from Hollywood Reporter, James Gunn's talking a little bit about Crypto, and we said, he says to Superman says to Crypto, home, take me home, and James Gunn throws it in here. He said, I think that's what Take Me Home is all about. We do have sort of a battered version of Superman at the beginning, and I think that is our country. I believe in the goodness of human beings, and I believe that most people in this country, despite their ideological or beliefs or their politics, are doing their best to get by and trying to be good people, despite what it may seem like for the other side, no matter what that other side might be. And then from Variety here, James Gunn also adds, superhero movies have taken these characters and said, okay, it's Batman or it's Superman, but it's not any of that other stuff. Gunn said, we're embracing all of the Superman mythology. He has friends who are other superheroes. He has people he doesn't get along as well with who are superheroes. He has a lot of the things that we love from the Superman comics that we haven't been able to see as much of in filmed media, and definitely haven't been able to see in a grounded way, which is what I hope we've created. Gunn said his DC universe shares as many elements with Game of Thrones as it does with the Marvel universe, in that he wants it to feel like a fully lived in world that just happens to include fantastical elements. And then he talks a little bit about the score. Said he told John Murphy he wanted to use the John Williams theme, but want to do our own version of it. That leads into a lot of other pieces, some of which harken back to the Williams theme, but some of which are purely John Murphy. So that kind of confirms what we were talking about the score there throughout the trailer. But guys, this did nothing to lower my expectations for this movie. If anything, it brought them up to another level, and I'm just ready for another trailer now to try and learn a little bit more about the plot and maybe be sold on some of the elements I'm questioning a little bit, some of the CGI shots there. And of course, you guys know I'm not the biggest fan of Nicholas Hoult, but I hope he kills it as Lex Luthor. I know we're going to get the engineer in here as a villain as well. A lot of fun stuff there, but the main things, I think Superman looks good. I know some people were worried about the suit, how it would look, but I think once in film here and when you see it edited through into a trailer process and the same it'll be in the film, it looks good to me. Lois Lane looks great. The score is incredible, I think. So a lot of more positives than negatives for me coming away from this trailer, and I'm super excited. Cannot wait for July. If you're someone that can't wait for it either, be sure to subscribe here to the channel. If you haven't already, we'll be covering it in the lead up to its release. We also cover horror and superhero movies here on the channel, and be sure to hit that thumbs up button. Really helps a shit ton with the YouTube algorithm if you give this video a like. And last but certainly not least, throw your thoughts in the comments on the trailer or any aspect of the DCU or Superman movie that you want to talk about. I always appreciate those interactions here as we continue to try and grow the community. But I appreciate you tuning into this one, and I will catch you on the next one.